in the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. I am Muhammad Asif Chaudhary, and today I am going to present my PhD thesis, and I will present first two chapters for the learning of students. My topic for the thesis was the intervening role of corporate tax avoidance between the corporate governance attribute and the organization performance, and the moderating effect of the family control. I am thankful to the faculty members and the management of Lahore Business School who realized that I should be awarded a degree of PhD. I am thankful to the management. Now, what is the background of study? As my research was on corporate governance, tax avoidance, firm performance, and family controlled firm. So the corporate governance is basically improve the transparency and accountability of the firm. Now, what the weak governance creates? Governance create basically the agency conflicts and earning manipulations, which the organization is earned that will not go to the actual owners of that are the shareholders of the company, but they are manipulated. And the aggressive tax practices, management do the aggressive tax practices to earn their rent or their mutual benefits of their own benefit. For the personal benefit, they do the aggressive tax practices, and tax avoidance strategies are increasingly used to maximize the shareholders' wealth. Now, agency theory explains the conflict between the shareholders and the management. So, what the debate is? Debate is basically whether the firm perform good by avoiding the taxes or the firm perform good by not avoiding the taxes. These are basically my point of view on which I start my research and completed my research. So for this, the reference of the tax gurus that are Armstrong et al. 2015 and Hanlon and His 2010 claims all these researches. So what my research will do, we are coming on that. The business must aware the potential drawbacks of the tax avoidance and carefully weigh to trade off between what are the money they are earning and what they are losing their reputation. So they create a balance between these two things. Either they are achieve their target of profit by avoiding taxes, or they are losing their reputation. These are the basically problems, and the meantime corporate tax avoidance has become a significant organization problem for tax authorities globally. Why? Because a heavy amount of $500 billion are avoided tax globally every year. That is the reference of Genxe 2018. And what is the corporate governance in emerging economies? If I talk about the Pakistan's characteristics by family dominated firm, concentrated ownership and weak investors protection and regulatory inefficiency. Most of the firm in Pakistan, if you observe that, mostly are the family owned firm, and there is a weakness of the ownership and the weakness of the investor protections and regulatory inefficiency due to the family ownership of the firms. And family firms may prioritize the socio-economic wealth over the shareholders' wealth. So the most family likely to improve their own wealth, instead of the shareholders who are the minority shareholders and invested for the organizations. So family control may weaken the effectiveness of the governance. Mostly the governance is affected by the family members and encourage the entrenchment of the behaviors. That is the corporate governance main. And what is the problem statement? Basically, for every research, you should have a problem on which you do your research or studies. My problem, which I detected, that was the limited evidence exists regarding whose the governance attribute and tax avoidance, the mediation role of the tax avoidance and moderating role of the family control. This is the basically problem statement of my study. And what is the research gap? Whenever you want to do a research or improve your knowledge, you have should have a research gap, which you have to fulfill that gap by your new knowledge. So the research gap was focus only on the direct relationship between the corporate governance and the firm performance. There was not ignores the mediation mechanism of tax avoidance, that its relationship by corporate governance to tax avoidance and the firm performance ignored, like that ignore the moderation effect of the family ownership, because it has a impact on the governance by both things. So what was my research question? As for the research question have a very importance. So does governance influence the performance? One of my question is that the governance influences the performance of the firm. Does governance affect tax avoidance, and does tax avoidance mediate the governance performance relationship, and does family control moderate the governance effectiveness? These are basically my research questions on which I started my research. And significance of the study is that the theoretical contribution is that extending agency theory and supports the stakeholders theory and integration of mediation and moderation model. That was the theoretical integration and contribution. For practical contribution, my study will be helpful for the useful of regulators, FBR, SCCP, investors, corporate boards, etc. The study will be helpful for these people. And what is the research objective? My study's main objective is to investigate the intervening role of corporate tax avoidance between the governance attribute and organization performance, and the specific objective examine the board gender diversity, board independence, institutional ownership, audit quality, and analyze the mediating role of the tax avoidance and analyze the moderating role of family control. These are the objective, main and specific of the research. Now for the theoretical foundation, agency theory, separation of ownership and control. As you know that basically there is a conflict between the ownership and management. That management wants for their personal benefits, they avoid the taxes aggressively, but the shareholders or the actual owners did not want to avoid the taxes. So the conflict arises between principal and agent. That is the agency theory. And stakeholders theory, governance improve accountability and transparency, basically, which is the main theme of the governance, to improve transparency and accountability. These theories explain governance and family control behavior, which is going to be problematic. Now I will explain the conceptual framework of my studies. For actual conception, as I taken 4 pillars of or attributes of the corporate governance, that are board gender diversity, board independence, institutional ownership, and audit quality. First of all, I will check the relationship of these on the financial performance and social performance, as my proxy is organization performance. One of significance of my study is that mostly it is checked by the financial performance, nobody checked by the social performance. So I am going to check the organization performance, which includes the financial as well as the social performance. And secondly, I will check the attributes effect on corporate governance by moderating role of